Hello, Gemini. Welcome back to my Body and Heart Tower Therapy. I'm here to do reading for June 2020. Brace yourself, Gemini. We have a lot of planets in retrograde, and that usually means us working with certain energies. And we have Venus in retrograde, we have outer planets in retrograde, Jupiter, Saturn, Pluto. I think Neptune is in retrograde too. I'm not sure. Anyway, it's quite intense. It's quite intense. And we are in Gemini season now, so happy birthday, Gemini. I hope you're well. I hope you're doing well. We just passed the new moon in Gemini. That was very intense for many of us. And we're going to have a full moon in Sagittarius, your opposite sign. Page of Wands is your current energy. I think it's on the 2nd of June. I need to double check. Right. All right, Gemini, let's see what's your energy. So this is a general reading. It's not going to apply for everyone. For Gemini, Sun, Moon, and the rising signs. And if it resonates, it resonates. And if it doesn't, then it's not your reading. All right, my dear, let's see what's your challenge. So you have the Four of Swords as your challenge. Okay. Now let's see. I'm going to skip the focus part because I feel like people sometimes get confused. Page of Wands is your current energy. Four of Swords is your current challenge. This is going to be your advice. Going directly to advice, okay? Let's see what's the advice for my dear Gemini. King of Pentacles, your advice. And let's see what's the future energy. What is the energy that you're going to work with? Okay, so you have two cards. You have the Six of Swords and the Four of Cups. All right. And bottom of the deck, which is the underlying energy, you have the Five of Wands. Are you feeling feisty, my dear Gemini? It may look like that a bit, yeah. So the underlying energy is the theme of your reading. So what you're working with this month, and I think that the theme of this particular month for you in June is to look a little bit like where you get triggered and how you're getting triggered and how you're reacting. Are you being very reactive? Are you being aware of yourself being triggered? What's going on? Like really full curiosity about this. I'm gonna pull out the clarifiers really quick for all of these cards. Okay, so you have the Eight of Swords with the Page of Wands as your current energy. Have 10 of Swords with the Four of Swords as your challenge. What's this? You have the Knight of Cups with the King of Pentacles as your advice. I'm not sure we need a clarifier. Oh my god, what's going on in here? You know what? I'm gonna take them all. These things aren't exactly random. So you have the 10 of Pentacles, the 8 of Pentacles, the 9 of Cups, and the 2 of Cups as your future energy. So there's a lot waiting for you to unlock here. That's my feeling. This is all like coming. And these are the great things that you can get out of that, I suppose, the way they look. Okay, so what's happening bottom of the day? Another 5. All right. So Gemini, this month you're definitely feeling very, very feisty. I think you get triggered a lot, and I think you get carried away with that. And you know, this is an interesting one because the Five of Wands can turn into more playful energy, but the Five of Swords is not playful at all. It's somebody who's like really needing to put other people down in order to feel powerful, in order to feel good about themselves, in order to, mm, I don't know, feel justified, feel right, like they are right. The only way to navigate this, these are important things. It's important that they happen because this is triggers always shows where our wound is, and just need to learn to navigate them. They don't happen because we're being punished for anything. We haven't done anything wrong. Triggers are just reminders. Hey, there's a wound somewhere inside me, and that needs attention and love and care. And when I'm acting from that wound, I come out like this Five of Swords here, trying to justify my reasons, being like really cutthroat, cold, and self-serving, and that kind of thing. The Five Swords is victory, but it's a victory that comes at a cost. It's somebody who's really just looking to be right without necessarily considering anything else, you know. So it's being in the ego mind. So I think the Five of Wands here is like, okay, you're being triggered, and you find yourself reactive, and then you see your ego sort of showing up, and yeah, the ego's role is to protect you. There's no reason to demonize the ego, but we do need to learn to work with it, right? We do need to learn to work with it. So yeah, it seems that this month of June, you have Venus retrograde in Gemini. So that's I mean, we will have that, but yeah, it's in your sign, right? So yeah, definitely is a big theme about relationships with all of us, and about communication and relationships, and about playfulness and things like that. So also see like when is playful competition and this type of stuff, when are they turning into ego power games and stuff like that. Fun month, Gemini. Okay, so the way this is showing up right now is that I think you're finally, I mean, finally, I don't know if you're seeing this for a long time, but you're seeing a way out of this. I mean, you start understanding that there's growth by working with your triggers rather than just act from them and just getting defensive, or this shows more aggressiveness than defensiveness, actually. Like maybe your defense is aggression. Go on attack whenever you feel in any way it's slightly threatened. The Page of Wands, I think that you start seeing the spiritual growth that's really happening in here. You start maybe seeing the karmic um role that these encounters you have, and the triggers, because some, you know, when we get triggered like this, when it's a karmic issue that shows up, we get triggered with one thing, not just by one person. And then at the time I just take it personally. I think it's them, or I think it's me, or whatever, you know, and I get away with it one way or another, ignoring it or fighting it, or stuff like that. But when the same theme seems to appear with everybody or with a number of people, then it's obviously something deep within. And it's a perception of your mind. It's something that you feel trapped in. That you feel stuck in a particular mindset, and you're using your mind to rationalize your defense here, which we all do. I mean, that's just for you to know kind of where you find yourself at. This is what this energy does, right? I mean, you're challenged in this way, so you see where you feel stuck. The thing is that normally when we just have the Eight of Swords, we feel stuck and that's it, and we're sorry for ourselves, and we can't really see the way out. We don't see anything. We feel like restricted. Yeah, it's pretty shitty energy. But with the Page of Wands here, I think that you can get playful with this. You can learn to not take your mind so seriously, your thoughts so seriously. We don't need to believe every thought that comes into our mind. And for you, Gemini, it's particularly difficult to do so because you rely on your mind oh so much. You are an air sign. especially if that's your son, that's how you see yourself, that's kind of like your ego perception and kind of what you put into the world. um, so you identify with it in this way, you rely, if it's in your moon, maybe it's even more intense actually, because that's how you see yourself, that's how you process everything internally through your mind. So telling you to not take your mind so seriously is not so, I'm sure it's not going to land that easy with you. It can land much easier with your opposite signs, Sagittarius, or with fire signs that are naturally, well, they're feisty and crazy as well, but at least they have a different way of processing. Let's put it this way: they don't necessarily rely on the mind. You do. So yes, it's a good one. It's a good one with the Page of Wands. I think it's you start seeing the transformative power of looking at this and at this with curiosity, looking at your triggers with curiosity, see where is that really leading, where is that really about, and not looking at it like when we turn the focus on ourselves, when we stop like say justifying or rationalizing or fighting over or being reactive. When we actually start turning the focus on ourselves, we tend to turn on ourselves, we tend to get angry and aggressive within, being like, okay, why am I acting like this? Why can't I just get out of this prison of the mind that I'm creating, if I even see it? Well, with the Page of Wands, it's a great indication that that's not the way. And I know the way I work with this, because obviously we all have that. We all have these things that, like, the cards apply to everyone, and the energies come to everyone, no matter how enlightened you are or how much work you've put. You still have these triggers, and you still have the wounds. The way I work with this Page of Wands, with this Eight of Swords, if I have the Page of Wands playfulness within, I'm sort of like, oh, okay, yeah, Andrea, I see you. Okay, you're stuck in there. Starting to relate to that part of me that feels stuck, to relate to the part of me that feels challenged, that feels triggered, that feels aggressive. And instead of judging myself and putting myself back down and turn on myself, or if I do it, at least I observe it. I'm starting to zoom out a little bit and be like, okay, maybe make a joke about this, maybe give it a nickname that's cute, a bit teasing but cute. Something that takes away the power and the gravity around this particular mindset that you find yourself in, that everybody pisses you off. Okay. In order to do that, obviously you need to cool the mind a little bit. You need to take a few steps back from this Eight of Swords, which is like complete hamster wheel type of energy in the mind, and go back into this chill, calm the fuck down type of energy. Sorry, that was a bit mean. No, yeah. Sorry. Four of Swords is a reminder that we can take a rest. We need a break. That's an invitation to be more meditative. And it's not retreating. It's not having to, like, it doesn't mean that you're giving your up on yourself. We still need to stand up for ourselves when we need to set clear boundaries, and when we are being taken advantage of and things like this. We need to stand up for ourselves. And most of the time, the ego mind perceives that, like, whenever I'm getting angry and aggressive and so on, I always need to investigate my reasons. And most of the time, the ego goes into again and again and again justifying why it comes up with that particular reaction or why it feels the way it feels. But most of the time, we don't get it. We misunderstand, and we just feel justified to react. Instead of spending load sheets of time to figure out, okay, is my reaction the correct reaction, trying to justify why I feel this way, the what would be more helpful right now is to allow yourself to meditate, really sit with it. Sit with it. This is your challenge position though, so it's obviously not going to be easy. It's going to feel difficult for you to sit given your mind is racing. And this is feeling, and the reason why it's happening is because you're reaching the 10 of swords, from the 8 to the 10. And the Ten of Swords is the scariest space for the ego, right? It's the scariest type of action that can happen, which is what one could call the death of ego. Mm, but then again, that just brings up even more fear. We, we need to understand, and we sometimes understand it at a deeper level, that what's happening is really not to our detriment. We are shedding off a skin. We're finally going deeper, and we'll figure out whatever wound was there that these reactive places show up to protect. When this was the persona, the type of behavior that you build up and you identify with, that becomes a persona. You identify with particular behavior that does certain things, so it's a character that you create in your mind, that you play that role every once in a while. Well, that character is not needed anymore, and it sees that it becomes obsolete, and it becomes defensive, and it becomes like it pulls you even more in rationalizing and so on. So yeah, it is challenging for sure, because by the way, the 10 of swords is always great. It's always great on our spiritual growth, and I guess that being in the page of wands energy, you see that. um you see that there's advantage. You want to let go of certain behaviors. You want to let go of certain patterns of particular mindset that's blocking you from moving forward, right? Okay, let's see what's your advice here though. um Obviously each and every card contains its own advice. The 10 of swords would be like, the dawn is coming. This is a good end of a cycle, and it will come with new insight and a new direction. And the 4 of swords would be like, meditate, 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 and take care of yourself. Give yourself a break from whatever it is that you're obsessing about. And the way to do that with your advice, the King of Pentacles and the Knight of Cups, I think it's very important for you to stand your ground. Like, understand your priority. Really understand your priorities, understand what is it that you need. Own your power, own your strength, own your abundance. You seem, the King of Pentacles is very abundant, right? Own in whatever way you're feeling privileged or lucky, or things that you've worked hard for. What if anybody challenges you in this position, about your position, about your how much money you're making, about the anything of your status, um, ask yourself why you're being challenged. You are this king of why you feeling challenged. I mean, they can challenge you whatever, however much they want. You are, you can be grounded, incredibly grounded into your sense of self, which is deeper than the ego's perception of the self. It's a very interesting one, because in order for you to, when you feel triggered in this way, remember how how you became how you became to be who you are. The hard work that you've put in, and all the growth that you've done so far. And this is a king. This is the master of the suit, right? Somebody who's knows what he needs, and he gives himself that, and somebody who can take care of the entire suit because he's a king. So you've got lots of power. Don't forget that. Don't allow yourself to be reduced to this inner child where the wound is. This is also masculine energy, so I think it's a matter of fathering yourself a little bit here. reminding that inner child that, hey, we survived, we're cool, wherever that wound is, it's fine to be open and vulnerable about it. Like, instead of fighting, instead of getting angry, sometimes it's very helpful to just own your shit, own your wound, own your pain, and own also everything else, because we sometimes focus just on the wound because obviously it's asking for attention, and we forget the rest. We forget that, I know, we're adults, we survived, we thrive in so many different ways, and so on. And whenever you feel triggered in this way, whenever you feel the, I don't know, that fear, that inner fear of fuck, a part of me is dying, or I need to let go of something that I'm terrified to let go of, mm, or you see yourself acting from this persona, from this angry self, you can switch in the very moment and let go of that. Be vulnerable about this. That's the Knight of Cups, is share what's really going on with you emotionally. Oh wow, yes, I realize I'm really triggered right now. But own it from your own fucking throne. Not like, okay, I'm sorry that you feel that way, or I'm sorry that you feel aggressed by me and what I said. More like, okay, I realize I am feeling really triggered right now, and it must be something to do with, I don't know, my own wound, and I maybe need time to feel into this, and I'll get back to you. Or find your own way, of course, but from a position of really, really owning it, but also being truly vulnerable. Show what's really going on. Don't just go in reactive mode and expect the other to, I don't know, come up with the solution. Okay, and you got future energy. So based on everything that's going on in here, I think that you are moving on from this particular mindset. And I think you're also moving on from this fourth cups. Maybe you felt a little bit apathic. Maybe you didn't really feel your emotions that much. Maybe you felt quite disconnected in a sense, which in a way it's good. We sometimes need to get there. We need to be a little bit numb, and in these moments we can use our minds much better, and we can analyze, and we can feel you know yeah, more. Sometimes things flow much easier when we just don't have all these emotions to feel and think about. But this also can get very, I don't know, like boring. Not feeling anything can be very scary at some point. And then we end up doing crazy shit just to start feeling. So I think that with the Six of Swords here, you're actually finding a healthy way to move away from this. And I think this is the key, starting with the Page of Wands, that curiosity. And this advice that I think is very, very helpful, being vulnerable while holding space for the greatness that are you, as well as the vulnerable side of you, you know? And yeah, it's really moving on, and it's unlocking a lot of great stuff here. You have the Eight of Pentacles, which makes you maybe better, easier to focus on what is it that you're passionate about, and put in the work, and put in the um creating your methods and so on, and looking at your relationship and family and your kin, like everything that you've been blessed with, in a sense, from previous generations. Of course there's a lot of shit coming from any intergenerational trauma, happens a lot, but there's also great stuff, traditions, the legacy that you've received. And what is it that you're moving forward else, you're putting forward for the future generations as well, in a sense, like how are you processing, what are you processing, and what is your contribution on it? And that doesn't necessarily mean that you have to come up with something incredibly dramatic to be kept in history. It's more about like what you make your life I don't know if you have kids or if you want kids, what would you share with them? How would you keep some the identity that you have, and mm, what is the type of work that you would put, you know, you would want your family or your children or your, I don't know, students or something like that to remember you for. I think that's coming forward. That's something that you are able to work with, and it's coming into your focus. That also means a lot of abundance, and you have the King of Pentacles there with abundance, and the Nine of Cups, wish fulfillment, and the Two of Cups with like just healthy and beautiful relationships. So I think that this whole challenge of the fives are growth. The five is growing from the stability of the four and going into the sixes, which means service. We need to go through the fives, and they feel insecure and they feel crazy, and we feel really challenged with the fives. But it's an important step. So you're going into great stuff. I think that the reward is right there in front of you, probably at the end of the month or beginning of next month. So hang in there, like know that you're being supported here, and know your power, and hold space for your wound. It's really important. Use the triggers to truly understand what is it that you truly need, rather than fall into this state of victimhood. Okay, so you have resplendent with grace, number 24, which means 8. And you had another 8 in here. No, this is 6, sorry. Oh, right, good, 6. There's another 6. Oh, why am I taking this? What I want is this, 24. Let's see, number 24. Okay, I'm going to read up for you just a bit. To my sip of tea. So this is the Rumi Oracle from Alana Fairchild, and I'm going to read to you the poem from Rumi that says, "Greetings from my heart to you who are always with me, hidden inside as the heart. You are the compass of my life. My course is your way, no matter where I go. You exist everywhere and in everything, always watching over us. My soul brightens in the darkness when I speak your name. Far beyond the body, there is an opening from my heart into yours. Through that opening, I send you secret messages like the moonlight. I polish the mirror of my heart to be your reflection. I make my ear the receiver for the tenderness of your words. You are in the ear, you are in the mind, you are in every burning heart. What am I saying? You are I. This is my way to describe you." Nice. I'll let you sit with that. I'm just going to read the interpretation. So is it difficult to see your magnificence? Without a mirror the size of a galaxy, how could you possibly witness all that you are? Like this, or the king of, sorry, I'm going to stop that. We get reactive, and we're getting like, we need power when we need to make up for times when we feel powerless. So notice if you feel small and powerless and maybe helpless in the moments that you become very reactive. And that's what's very important to remember, that you are the fucking king. I'm gonna read. Without the mirror of the size of a galaxy, how could you possibly witness all that you are? You must just catch glimpses of your truth now and then. Oh, if you could see yourself as I see you in all your glorious fullness of being. You are swathed. Wow, I'm not sure what that word is. Never mind. Okay, I'm gonna go to. So it says that you are dressed in robes of grace, so light and free that they do not weigh you down, and yet so luscious and full that it cannot help but steer the movement of all the creation as you step this way and that. Okay, there's always a lot of talk in this oracle. I'm gonna go to the guidance. So this oracle comes to you with a message. You may be wondering if you can attain this next stage of growth in your life. Yes, that's how fives feel, and definitely that's what this eight feels here. Um, you are already well equipped to do so, no matter what you might believe about the situation, circumstances, or others involved, even yourself. You have within your soul possession more than enough grace to see you through anything you are bold enough to envision for yourself, or for any vision you feel life has bestowed upon you. So pray through unconditional love to access all that you are, to be supported by those beings that love you without condition. Pray to realize that you are so drenched in sacred grace that the well of your being is full. All that is needed to nurture you on to the next step of your life path is within you now. Success is yours, but you must believe in your ability, your readiness, and your capacity to take this next phase of the journey now. How could it be otherwise? For you are one with grace. All right, beloved, I hope that makes sense to you. Um, yeah, no, I see that there's a lot great stuff coming. Once you allow yourself that moment of vulnerability, that moment of true ownership of the pain that you have, of whatever quality it has, and remember that you are full of grace already. You have all this within you. There's that basic goodness right within you. And if you slow down and breathe and come into your body and feel your heartbeat and connect to that part of yourself, you can navigate this. You can definitely um, find a different way to deal with this reactive energy and with maybe difficult people that come into your life to challenge you. We need this type of challenges so that we can grow. All right, my dear Gemini, I hope this makes sense to you. If it is, please like, share, and subscribe. And I'll see you here next month. Happy birthday again, and may our practice benefit all beings.